I never thought I'd be afraid of my own brother. Not the boy who used to hold my hand while crossing the street. Not the one who shared his last piece of candy with me. Not the one who once promised, "I'll always protect you." But that night, standing in the quiet darkness of my own home, I realized something had changed. Or maybe I had just refused to see it before. My name is Aisha, and for most of my life, my brother Samir was my closest person. After our parents passed away, it was just the two of us against the world. I worked 2 jobs to keep our home running while he drifted. At first, I told myself he was just lost. Everyone has phases, right? He started hanging out with new friends, coming home late, avoiding eye contact. The laughter we once shared slowly turned into silence. Still, I trusted him. That was my first mistake. Because trust, when given blindly, can break you in ways you never imagine. That evening felt normal. I came home exhausted, dropped my bag, and noticed something strange. The front door wasn't locked properly. My heart skipped. I stepped inside slowly, calling his name. Samir? No answer. The house was too quiet. But then I heard it, a soft sound from my room, a drawer closing. My breath caught. I walked toward the door, my hands trembling, my mind trying to make sense of it. Maybe he was looking for something. Maybe it was nothing. But deep down, something felt wrong. And when I pushed the door open, everything inside me shattered. Samir stood there, frozen, my cupboard open, my jewelry box in his hand, cash scattered on the bed. For a second, neither of us spoke. He looked at me, not with guilt, not even with shame, but with something colder, something distant. Like I wasn't his sister anymore, like I was just a target. That was the moment I realized my brother hadn't just changed. He had crossed a line. And what I didn't know that night was that this betrayal would change me too. "Put that down, Samir." My voice didn't even sound like mine. It was steady. But inside, I was breaking. He laughed softly. Not the laugh I grew up hearing, and this one felt empty. "Relax, Aisha. It's not a big deal." Not a big deal? I stepped closer, my eyes filling with tears I refused to let fall. "You're stealing from me." He shrugged like it meant nothing. "I needed money." "You have plenty." That sentence hurt more than anything else, because he didn't see my struggle. He didn't see the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the dreams I buried just to keep us afloat. To him, I was just convenient. "I did everything for you," I whispered. He rolled his eyes. "No one asked you to." That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. Like a thread finally snapping after being pulled too tight for too long. Samir walked past me that night, taking the money with him. And I didn't stop him. Not because I couldn't, but because I finally understood something I had been avoiding for years. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. The next few days were the hardest of my life. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just thought, over and over again, about every moment I ignored, every red flag I softened, every excuse I made for him. But pain has a strange way of turning into clarity, and clarity into strength. I realized something important. Samir didn't just take money from me. He took my trust, my respect, my sense of safety in my own home, and that I couldn't let go unaddressed. So I made a decision, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. If he thought I was weak, if he believed he could walk into my life and take whatever he wanted, then he didn't know me at all. I changed the locks. I secured my finances. And most importantly, I set a plan in motion. Because sometimes, the only way to stop someone from crossing the line again is to show them exactly where it ends. A week later, Samir came back. Just like I knew he would. People like him always return, when they think they still have control. He knocked on the door like nothing had happened. I opened it slowly. For a brief second, I saw the old him, familiar, almost comforting. But then it faded. "Hey," he said casually, "I need to talk." I stepped aside and let him in. Not because I trusted him again, but because I was ready. He walked in, looking around like everything still belonged to him. "I need more money," he said, getting straight to the point. Of course he did. I nodded calmly. "Okay." He looked surprised. "Too easy, right?" I walked to the table and placed an envelope in front of him. "This is everything I owe you." He frowned. "What?" I met his eyes. You said no one asked me to help you. So I calculated every expense I ever covered for you and subtracted it from what you took. His expression shifted. Confusion, then discomfort, then something else. Reality. There's nothing left, I continued quietly. Not money, not responsibility, not us. Silence filled the room. For the first time, he didn't have anything to say. You don't get to walk in and out of my life anymore, I said. You don't get to take from me and call it nothing. He laughed nervously. You're overreacting. I shook my head. No, I'm finally reacting. That hit him harder than anything else. He looked around again, but this time, it wasn't with confidence. It was with realization. The doors were locked. The access was gone. And so was the sister who once stood quietly and endured everything. Leave, I said softly. And this time, he did. Without another word, without another excuse. Just gone. That night I sat alone in my room. The same room where everything had once fallen apart. But this time, I didn't feel broken. I felt free. Because sometimes the hardest thing isn't losing someone. It's accepting who they've become. Samir didn't just cross a line. He showed me where I needed to draw mine. And my revenge? It wasn't loud. It wasn't cruel. It was something stronger. I took back my power. I chose myself. And in the end, that was enough.